Hey adventurers, this is Jerry from AdventurousJeriLynn. Today, we want to say Happy New Year. Welcome 2022. Well, I hope you had a good break. Hope you had a great holiday and all that good stuff with family and friends. I did something a little different this past Christmas. My birthday's a few days before Christmas, and I told the hubby I wanted to do some solo camping. And fast forward, the video that you've seen before this, when I first came back from my break, I was in the middle of editing the video. And you know how you're going through and you maybe cut some stuff out. You know, you're used to me having some bloopers. Sometimes I leave those in, and then sometimes I just kind of roll with it. Well, the video that was prior to this, when I was showing you my campground, I decided to go ahead and edit early. You know, sometimes I wait until the last minute, but this time I thought, well, you know, what the heck. So I went ahead and started editing. When I had my playback on my video, the one prior to this, it was a little, how you say, stranger danger. It was a very, what I want to say, stalker. It seemed like I was being stalked, and I didn't notice it until I played back my video and during editing. Okay, so I didn't really want to go into that video. I wanted to make them two separate. So go back and watch the first video and you'll notice something in my campground, but spoiler alert, just go and look. Well, anyway, so here we are, fast forward. I'm in the video, I'm doing the editing, and I noticed this vehicle. So let's just back up a bit. I took 4 days and I reserved a campsite at a local state park that's, you know, near our home base. And it wasn't too far from Robert. And I thought, well, you know, worst case scenario, he could be there pretty quick. Come to find out, when I reserved this, it was December 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, and then checking out on the 27th, that Monday. Well, my birthday was the 22nd, had a wonderful dinner with my husband, and the very next day, he followed me. No, let's take that back. He's in the camper, the Class C, and he's following me in the Jeep. So I thought, if once we get to the campsite, I have the Class C parked, and then I have my Jeep parked right next to it. Okay, so if anybody in the campground, you'd see there's two driving vehicles, and so that must mean there's two people in there camping. You know, I'm hoping that at age 55, I thought a little smart. I thought a little ahead of the curve, as you may say. Well, that wasn't the case. So the job was for the hubby to follow me, drop the the camper off, and to level off the RV. Then jump back in my Jeep, and then I take him home. So if he ever wanted to, during those 4 days during camping over the Christmas day, he could come and visit me in the truck. Okay, well, here we are. I go back through my video, the previous video. I'm doing the editing, and I noticed this vehicle. Well, you know how you are when you first get to a campsite. Okay, I drop the hubby off. I drive back to, you know, my campsite, and, you know, you're getting stuff ready. You're unpacking. You're unpacking your food. You're unpacking your clothes. You know, you're just setting up everything. Okay, so I'm getting ready for dinner. Now, at this given time, not knowing, I'm one of 3 campers. There's a camper that's by the entrance. It's a Class A. And I didn't know at the time, but until later, found out that it was just parked. Then the second of the third vehicle, RV, was on the other side, sort of like, if not on my road, but if you go to the back, there's a RV there, and it's also nobody's there. Okay, so it's one of 3. I'm thinking, well, you know, maybe they're out in in the city, and, maybe they're grabbing groceries, or maybe they're getting firewood. You don't know. You just go along with what you're doing, right? You know, and I'm pretty safe. I have things to protect me, and it goes back to, I don't want to do a spoiler alert because I want you to watch the whole video. What I want to say is, if you don't know my back history, I went into military right out of high school, and I served 9 years in the Air Force. So I have self-defense. I have practice with, weapons, what have you. Okay, fast forward. I have law enforcement background. I was working in a boys' prison for several years for the state of Indiana. And as times went on, and this was back in the 80s, early 90s, things tend to change. And so I didn't want to work with the juveniles anymore, because we would house them from 13 to 18 years old. Once they turned 18, then we would send them to the sheriff, the jail. Well, there was an opening at the sheriff's department years into my career working at this boys' prison. And I thought, well, I'm kind of tired of working with the juveniles. I'll work, with adults. Okay, fast forward. So I have 10 years of background in law enforcement. I have 9 years in prior military. So I know defensive tactics, how to protect myself, how to take someone down, all these things with a juvenile. And then fast forward years later, when I transferred, and I can't really say transfer because they're two different entities. I worked for the state of Indiana, and then I worked for the sheriff's department in Indiana. So once I got to adult, I had to learn defensive tactics with adults. So I felt like I was more a well-rounded, big, bad, and beautiful. I could protect myself even though I'm only 5'3". I look tiny, but, I'm, strong like bull type thing. Yeah. Well, fast forward, you think you're 55, and yeah, even though that was 30 years ago, and I'm, I may have gained a little weight, but I can still protect myself. God gives you this gut feeling. You call it your angels, your there's many things you can call it. Your gut intuition, a woman's intuition, God whispering to you, your guardian angel. There's many different names. But going back to that video, the one prior to this, and looking through the video and seeing that this said truck, and you'll see it if you go back and watch this video, he was parked right behind me. And, here you are, you got this whole campground, this state park campground, and out of all three, there's only three of us, me, the one that's empty by the entrance, the one that's on the side of me, down the road, there's three of us. Again, I'm, call it naive or whatever, thinking, okay, maybe they're out for the afternoon, they'll be back, what have you. This gentleman is parked directly behind me. Didn't know it until I did the video when it came to editing. Okay, I keep saying that. Anyway, I want you to get this process. So when I came in, after I dropped the hubby off, I get back to the campground. It's winter time. It gets dark around 5:15. And, it's in the afternoon, so I'm getting set up and everything. So I have my blinds, the way that I'm parked in the camper, I have the blinds open. If I'm sitting on the couch here, I can look out the blinds when it's open, and I can see the front, gate of the campground. Now, behind me, I keep this closed down, but I keep it cracked a little bit so I can look behind me, so I can see the front, the back, but I can't see the front out the window because I have it covered. Again, go back to the previous video to see. Long story short, so I'm taking a mental note. Again, my background, law enforcement. I keep my back against the wall. I survey the room, in this case, the campground. I got my back against the wall. I'm surveying. So every vehicle that comes in, whether it's a Jeep, people walking their dogs, what have you, I'm keeping mindful, okay, there's a white pickup truck. There's a black Jeep. And in my mind, as I'm sitting here and I'm eating or if I'm reading, whatever, and I can hear, I'm looking, so everyone that's come in, I can see them come out. Well, again, when I first got there, I'm unloading. I didn't notice this black truck. Okay, so that right there just kind of creeps me out because I don't scare very easily. And again, I don't have a lot of background noise like the TV or the radio. I always keep that at low. So it's just like a background white noise as I'm going around and I'm making dinner or what have you. And before I go outside, just doing the visual out the window, what have you, looking. Okay, so I see this vehicle and I'm thinking he leaves. He probably did leave. But again, as I'm walking around, maybe I went to the restroom and I'm fixing something or I'm whatever. You get where I'm saying here. Are you catching what I'm throwing? Okay, this is a problem. In my, strong like bull, I got the S on my chest, I'm big, bad, and beautiful. I can remember, worst case scenario, if something happens, I know I can protect myself. Well, it goes back to your gut feeling, your guardian angel. I didn't have any bad vibes. The first night, the second night, the third night. Didn't have any problems. Okay, so the hubby came and visited me every day except Christmas because the kids and the family came in at his mother's house, my mother-in-law. I was at the campground. So that was the only day he didn't come and visit. The other 2 days prior, he did. Again, he dropped the vehicle off, and then I drove him back. And then the second day, he came back with the truck, and he visited for a little bit. And then he left. So I didn't have any bad vibes the first, second, and third. Okay, so the day after Christmas, it's the 26th. I still have another day. Well, I see this black pickup truck. And everything in my being, again, it goes back to your gut instinct. You get the goosebumps. However God talks to you, however your guardian angel makes you feel, this was more than just goosebumps. This was like over my whole body. So my husband and I were sitting there, we're on the couch. We got the TV going. And I feel safe because, he's here with me. We've got now 3 vehicles, the RV, my Jeep, and his pickup truck. So said stalker or stranger danger or do I have a stalker? I have no idea type thing. He comes in the campground. He's going really, he's coming in real slow. And so I look over to my husband because I'm sitting here and he's looking there and we're looking out and I said, that truck. I said, I'm going home with you tonight. He says, what's wrong? I said, it's just all over me. I can't explain. I haven't had this feeling in years. I can't explain it. Again, way past goosebumps. And I kind of have this like right now. I kind of have this just telling the story. I told him, I said, I'm leaving with you. But I still have another night. Now, granted, I am the most cheap person. You know me. I am on a budget. I like bargains. I like good food. I save a lot of stuff so I can have good food and we can travel and we have gas and what have you. But I still have a night. I paid for this site. I paid for it for 4 nights. I've been here for 3. Didn't have any problem. Didn't have no bells or whistles or anything going off in my body. Nothing. But when he... piece of string here. When he came into the campsite going slow, and I'm like, really? There's 3 vehicles here, and he's still, and it just kind of dawned on me. I didn't know what I knew, but I just knew, don't ever, ladies, if you're a solo traveler, if you are a solo traveler, do not ignore that gut feeling. So my husband says, honey, I didn't bring the camper keys. They're back at the house. I said, I got them. It took us all of about 5 minutes. He unplugged because I wasn't hooked up to water. I was just, had electric. He goes outside, unplugs the black truck. He's over in the distance. I don't see him. I'm not paying attention to him. I feel okay with my husband. Again, I still feel it all over, like, get out. Like, get out now. So he unhooks the electric. I'm moving stuff around. So, I got everything spread out. I'm here for another night. So I'm putting stuff away so it doesn't slide. You know how it is when you're travel day. You put everything away. You close everything. Or you just put it on the floor, and because we don't have far. I'm not far from home at this particular state park. So I'm leveling. So we meet up, and he's in the front, and now he's starting the RV. And I said, look, give me your truck keys. I'm gonna leave my Jeep here. Sorry I moved the table. You take the RV. I'll follow you in your truck. We'll come back in a few minutes to get my Jeep. Now at this time, now it's starting to get dark. It's almost like, okay, so it gets dark around 5:15. It's probably about 4:45, 5. It's getting dark. Mr. Pickup, Mr. Stalker, I don't know who he is, stranger danger. He is somewhere, but hasn't left yet. So I get out of the camper. I get in the truck. I back out. Robert pulls out in the RV, and then I follow behind him, leaving my Jeep here at the campsite. We go out. Well, what do you know? Who's there? The Mr. Stranger Danger Stalker. I don't know what he is. I don't know what to call him. He happens to be going out of the campsite. Robert gets on his butt to get he gets a picture, a screenshot. He writes it down. He texts me, because you know how you got to stop. He texts me real quick the plate number. He took a screenshot. The guy must have looked in his rearview mirror, took off so it's a blurry, but he remembered the plate. You know how you can see my husband, if I hadn't mentioned in prior thing, he's prior law enforcement too. He has 10 years with the sheriff, is where mine's broke up between the state and the sheriff, the county. Anyway, so my husband, he's the same way. We're very security minded. So he remembers the plate, even though he didn't get a good, it's blurred. So the black truck takes off. Husband's now at the stop sign. Now he takes the picture. He remembers the plate. He texts me the plate number. He gets out now. He's free to go. Now I go, and I didn't notice it because I'm back. I'm lagging a little bit. And as we're driving out, and I get to the stop sign, and I turn, I'm like, oh, there's that black truck. So we're going out of the park, and then we're following him. And he must have felt like we're like, oh, the hunter becomes the hunted, or the huntee, or however you want to word it. Now, the shit's on the other foot, or excuse my friends, it's on the other foot now. So now we know who he is, because again, he was behind us. And when I had my camera, when I was out there doing the video, and even though I edited, I didn't get his plate number. I just remember what that truck looks like. Long story short, protect yourself at all times. If you're a solo traveler, you do everything right. You got two vehicles that are both drivable. I'm thinking I'm safe. The hubby's within minutes away. We're not far from, our home is not, our new base camp is not far from the state campsite. And, you take all these considerations, but come to find out, the first RV that's by the entrance, the other one, in those 3 days, they never came. So it was just me solo, even though there's two other campers. I'm one of three. Both are gone. They never did come back. They never were in town getting groceries or wood or whatever. Again, you can't live your life what everybody else is doing around you. All you can do is protect yourself. Learn from my mistake. Protect yourself at all times. I say all this to say, and I know that was a long-winded story, protect yourself. Know where everything's at. And when you got that feeling, whether it's all over, wherever it's all over you, don't ignore that. It is God sent to tell you, because worst case scenario, what would have happened? What if Robert left? This would have been my final night staying there. What if said stalker, do I have a stalker? Stranger danger decides to come back. There's no streetlights. It's a state park. So you're used to having other campers and their lights. I just have my porch light. What do? You think that you're big, bad, and beautiful. You got this S on your chest. You know how to protect yourself. Well, at 55, I like to say that I'm still, I have all my faculties. I can protect myself. I have things to protect myself. But I'm not maybe as fast as I was 30 years ago. Even though I'm smarter, age has given me wisdom. But still, 30 years ago, I can react faster. You think that everything will work out. You don't know if he went back and got his buddies. You don't know if this guy works solo. Is he what's the word I want to say? A predator of another sort. You never hear these things. That's why you always have to protect yourself. And when something's not right, you leave. So, I'm glad I left. Yes, I lost that X amount of dollars for the next night, but I feel like I've learned a lesson. Maybe not do that during the holidays. If I do it during the holidays, maybe there should be more people around. Again, when you're reserving the site, you have no idea that there's other people. People are passing through. We're in the Midwest. We're in Indiana. People are constantly driving, cross country. People get tired and they need to stop. They don't want to stop at a rest stop. Maybe they don't want to stop at a Cracker Barrel or Walmart to boondock. Maybe they just want to get some peace and quiet in a state park. Whatever their reasons are, people stay. But in that moment, in that thing, I just didn't feel right. Okay, so go back to the story. We dropped the RV off at home at base camp. Robert jumps into the truck, his truck. I'm already driving, so he jumps in the truck. Now we go back to the campsite, the state park, and we get my Jeep. I jump out, Robert drives his truck, I get into my Jeep, then we go out of the state park. Still having a day that I can have, to camp, but it wasn't worth it. Ladies, solo traveler, I haven't maybe been camping as long as a lot of the people that I follow on YouTube, and I have a lot of favorite RVer people that I follow. Some are solo, some are with couples. They have couples that they caravan camp, and some have, multiple people camping with them. Whatever the scenario is, you never ignore this and this. If it's time to leave, it's time to leave. All right, I'm going to end this here. All right, go back to this previous video. It is episode 168. This is episode 169. I'm so happy. 2022, I'm hoping we'll have really great stories, in the coming, months, so I can share with you. But I just thought this would be very, very, even though it's a touchy subject, it would be very important to share. So I want to say I love you, family. You take care. We'll see you out on the open road. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.